You have a interesting relationship with Kanye, because I remember. Listen, I remember
with the names.
Well, no. I remember because I wanted to ask you about this. Mm-hmm. There was one of those rants on the Life of Pablo tour when Ye was like floating above the crowd, and in one of the rants, I believe he was in Sacramento or San Francisco. He mentioned your name specifically in one of these like 30-minute Kanye rants in the middle of his performance. Yeah. Like, obviously, since then you've seen Kanye. You know, he's obviously I'm not talking about since the current situation he's in. Yeah. But since that specific instance, like, what do you, when you wake up in the morning, again, you're the most mild-mannered, cool dude, and you see Kanye just went on a rant and mentions my name, what do you like? Do you give a fuck or?
No, it doesn't pay my rent. I really didn't give a shit. My mom was excited. My family was excited. You know, I got hit up around the country about it. But, I mean, no, I don't even know what led to that, because at that time, we actually had a really good relationship, and I would go and listen to his album. Usually would grab Big and go with him, listen to Big Boy and go listen to his album. And so, but maybe he wasn't getting the feedback from me at the time, because things had started to change from him in the marketplace. But I don't even know what caused the rant. But yeah, I thought it was funny. You know, so
how long has DJ Khaled called you Doc Winters and not Doc Winter? Doc Winters.
To the point where I actually thought about changing my name to Doc Winters, since everybody calls me.
It's almost like everyone used to call Joe Budden Joe Buddens. It's like, it's Winter. It's
I think it's funny, actually. Khaled's my guy, man. I love him.
Great guy.
So, yeah, he's hilarious.
So another thing I wanted to talk about, Doc, because I do feel like we are in like a new era of just the music industry. We talked about streaming. We talked about TikTok. Like, what would be your advice? I always tell artists when they ask me, and you can tell me if I'm wrong or not, but I always tell them to worry about radio last. Because to me, it's like the last peg of like, you know, like if you're I get hit up by guys with 10,000 followers. Yeah. And they're like, yo, man, I'm from the city. Put me on Real, you know. And I'm just like, don't worry about me yet. Like,
no, I think that's good advice.
Yeah, I always say the radio's the last thing to come. Worry about, you know, developing a following, your fans, you know, getting your shit off the ground, put an album out, something like. But what would be advice you would give in terms of like just an up and coming artist and how they should maneuver around getting on the radio?
Yeah, I think it's no different from back in the day, where I think you have to create a story for yourself. Like back in the day, we would say create something locally. Now we'd probably say create something socially. You know, get yourself a buzz. I think you got to work on your art. I think because you never know when it's time to press play, and you got to be ready to do business. And I always ask people, like, especially after like, you know, the first year, so how was it? Like, yo, shit's a grind. Like, yeah, it's not fun. Like,
it's work.
It's work. Yeah. It's work. You're getting up doing these morning shows, doing these shows, and you're trying to party, and then you got to get up and do shows. Like, it's like not everybody's built for it, you know. So that's my advice. And then also handle your business. Yeah. Because you may get 2 albums. You may not. You should have some licensing, some publishing to continue to take care of your family. You may move into a different aspect of the business, but I think you got to start looking at it from that perspective, because things can change.
What about your advice for listen, and I tell anybody who asks me that they want to get into the radio industry, for the most part, I say, I don't know, man. Time might have passed. Like, so what if somebody's watching this and their aspirations are to do radio? It's obviously by the day getting tougher and tougher to crack because of just the nature of our business, the economics of our business. What would be your advice to somebody who wants to get into radio?
Man, get yourself a podcast, man. Get yourself a podcast. Work on your craft. If an opportunity presents itself. But honestly, man, like there's so few opportunities for really to hone your craft. I think you got to be on the air frequently to do that. Podcast gives you an opportunity to do that. But I mean, only the strong are surviving right now. There's some incredibly talented people like yourself who are out of work. Yeah. And then there's some incredibly talented people like yourself who have carved a niche for themselves, and now they're on more than one radio station. Right. There's a lot of people outside of radio trying to take multiple jobs, and I get a lot of those meetings, and sometimes I got kind of like throw it back at them, like, you do realize that what you're asking me to do is take 25, 30 people's jobs and give it to you,
right?
And they've never ever thought about it that way.
Yeah, like you're affecting
like
real people's livelihood.
Like honestly, because we really don't have to unless we needed to. But you're asking me basically to take 30 jobs from people and just give it to you because you may or may not be more talented, but it's real, and I take that into consideration. It's not something I take lightly.